For the schedule performance and cost performance, we can also express this into indices. So for the cost performance, we can express this as a cost performance index in addition to cost variance. Let me give you guys the formula for the CPI cost performance index, which the BCWP always the first term, and since this is related to cost, we're going to use the actual cost of work performed. For the SPI schedule performance index, we've got BCWP as the first term and the BCWS as the second term to get our CPI and SPI. So for CPI greater than 1 corresponds to cost variance greater than 0, and CPI smaller than 1 corresponds to CV smaller than 0, and SPI greater than 1 corresponds to schedule variance greater than 1, and SPI smaller than 1 corresponds to a schedule variance smaller than 0. All right, so think about, just flip back to the previous graph and see which one is ahead of schedule, which one is behind schedule, which one is cost underrun, which one is cost overrun. So let me just tell you guys the answer for here. So for the CPI and a CV, for a CPI greater than 1 corresponds to CV is the positive value. That is cost underrun, or you can say under budget. And this is if your CV is smaller than 1, that is over budget. And if your SPI greater than 1 and SV greater than 0, that basically means you're ahead of schedule. And this is behind schedule. One way to help you guys to memorize this performance indexes, if you've got a CV greater than 0, that basically means positive. Positive means good things. You are in positive mode, and it is under the budget. Your cost is still behind your budget. If you've got a negative value, which is a not good thing, and in this case that's over budget. You have a cost overrun. So for the schedule variance, if that's greater than 0, you are ahead of schedule. If your schedule variance is smaller than 0, that's a negative value, and which is the bad result. We are behind our schedule. So that's one way for you guys to memorize what the cost indexes really mean to you, or what the schedule indexes really mean to you. Forecasting, we can also use earned value system to help us forecast our cost. So for the original budget, we call it BAC, original cost estimate, or budget at completion, original project estimate. And then there's a ETC. ETC is called estimate to complete, which is the estimate to complete the remaining portion of the work. And the ETC equals BAC minus BCWP. Which is the budget for the remaining portion of the work. So this is your original budget, BAC minus BCWP, budget cost for work performed. So that's your original budget for the remaining portion of the work for this portion. And we've got a performance cost performance index, and we just normalize this by cost performance index. That can really help us to project the estimate to complete the remaining portion of your work. So now let's try to explore the relationship a little bit. So this is your original estimate for the remaining portion of the work. If your CPI is smaller than 1 in the denominator section, and we know the ETC is going to be greater than BAC minus BCWP. It makes sense because your cost performance is in a bad shape because your CPI is less than 1, and you expect this portion of the your ETC is going to be greater than your origin budget. So that's kind of like we try to project everything is going to progress according to our existing pattern. So for the EAC is the estimate at completion, which is the actual cost of work performed plus the estimate to complete the remaining portion of work, which is the ETC.